Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we about to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Talk about the Bills, dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills. Dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home, the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis,
and I am tired. No, this is 40 Keys. 40 Keys with the glasses today. No, say it again. Do it again.
It's air producer in the building. Love y'all.
Dang, your fingers do that? That's what's up.
I know, like this a whole different thing. I'm used to this.
And I can't even line that up right.
Yeah, I
close enough.
Suck at that.
Yeah, I it's new. I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get the stuff that Mr. Dill Trill and Bills Mafia Experience are gonna comment to us about out the way first.
Well, we don't know what it is. I thought last week was solid.
I thought it was solid too, but I mean, obviously we were absolutely wrong. Yeah, right.
Dang.
We got killed in the comments. So I have a prepared statement that I'm just going to get out of the way. Okay, perfect. So do you want to go first?
Well, it's not prepared, but yes, I have a statement. You go first because mine, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Welcome everybody. Look, $15.50 is the minimum wage in New York State right now. Okay. When I was in high school, it was $5.75. And I used to work part-time at McDonald's. 2-3 days out of the week, I go there after school. And I used to really, really love payday because that meant I could go buy some clothes or some J's or something, so I can look fresh for the next week, right? And the school I went to Bennett, right? And it people called our school like fashion central of the city. Like everything was about fashion at Bennett, right? So anyway, I didn't have that job for long, but I loved that feeling of having money in my pocket with no responsibilities. I think that's where the Bills fan base is right now with the Bills.
Oh, I really thought this was an earning app. I thought this was going to earn it. I'm like, we got a sponsor? Go ahead, brother.
No, not at all. Not at all. I really, truly think that that's where the Bills fan base is right now when it comes to how they view the team and how much support of everything that's been going on the Bills have from the fans, right? And when you think about it, we were so downtrodden and weak from decades of mediocre football that as soon as we got good again, it was like having that job with no responsibilities on payday. We free to enjoy these regular season wins. Nobody in our division can talk junk to us anymore. The league and national media respects our franchise again. It's great, right? Feels great. But something happened as I got older, okay? I had a lot of jobs after McDonald's. And those jobs weren't as enjoyable on payday as when I worked at McDonald's. The reason payday had lost its luster is because I now had bills to pay. When you have bills to pay, thoughts of running out and shopping, them things, they sit in last place. Those are the last things you can think of when you got bills to pay, right? And it's because you eventually realize that the minimum wage that you're making at the time doesn't allow you to live the way you want to live anymore. Now you need a house. Now you need a car to get to work. Now you need groceries. Now you need hot water, so on and so forth, right? Now, I truly believe that is where the real desire for improvement is going to come from us, the fans, right? Right now, everybody is content because they haven't been winning regular season games long enough. We just came from a 20-year drought of having any kind of pride about our team whatsoever, right? Realistically, it's been 7 full years of the top tier winning. That's not that long. It's really not that long. 7 years is really not that long. It's not even a full decade. We made the playoffs in 2017, but that was on the backs of somebody else's performance, not the Buffalo Bills, right? So what I mean to say is when we stepped forward in the NFL and we became one of those dudes walking down the street that you best walk around or else something bad is going to happen to you, that the Bills became that in 2020. We became that franchise that when you see us on your schedule, I don't know if we're going to get a W that one. We might as well just give it to them. And I think in the regular season, it still is that way. And don't get me wrong, I love that. Okay. But I don't think that it's been long enough for Bills fans to get that vibe that I got bills to pay. Like, yeah, the regular season winning is nice, but I need a little bit more now than minimum wage. Regular season wins ain't enough. You know, we still in high school right now. We still enjoying them responsibility free checks, and it's fun. And I think that's what I hear a lot of from people. Well, just enjoy it. Just I'm having a good time. I'm having fun every season. I got season tickets. We go have a party at the stadium. That's what it is now. I finally figured it out. But I hope that nobody takes this as me trying to be demeaning or anything like that, because for the first 5 years of all this winning, I was like every single one of you, right? I think the issue for me is not only did I have a child at 19 years of age, but I he's right.
I'm about to say hi, Judy. He's right there.
But that caused me to have a lot more responsibilities after that in terms of the bills that I pay, right? And I think the same exact thing happened in my fandom. I got to a point where, okay, 5 years, time to step up. Now what, right? So you guys can let me know what you think about that, Mr. Dill Trill, Bills Mafia Experience. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Key, the floor is yours.
Well, I should have went first because I can't follow that. No, I think what the crux of this thing was, I was talking to my friend earlier, the one that always busts my chops. He's going to be watching this tonight at work. So shout out to you, big boy. But yeah, we were talking and he hit me with, I'm trying to think how he said it. He said, Key, you're never satisfied. He said, your son comes home with a B+ on the paper. Dad, I got into brain surgery school or neurosurgery, whatever he said. And I said, he said, you're going to say not good enough. Go upstairs, get across that bed. I'm coming up there in a minute with the belt. I'm like, yeah. I said, yeah, that's how I am in real life. I said, because
right.
when it comes to, you know, we were just talking about this before the show, honestly. You know, we were talking about how we tell our kids, you know, our parents told us you're going to do it this way or else. We say, well, you can do it how you want, but I'm telling you, look at me. I don't get no sleep. I don't do this. I don't do that. Do you want to do it the way I'm doing it? Or do you want to do it a different? You want me to help show you a different way to do it? And so, you know, he said something else. And I was like, yeah, but B+ kids don't get neurosurgery degrees. I said, you got to be tops of tops to get there. He said, okay. I said, and then what you're telling me is that once the Bills win the Super Bowl in 2 years and now everything is all good and you can just be carefree. I said, but when a brain surgery doctor gets that degree and does his residency and finishes what he's finishing, can you go say, oh, F it, I killed like 5 people, but you know, I had my surgery, fine, whatever. You got to keep getting better. You can't be complacent. You can't stop. And so, I mean, I was going to give a little background on myself. And this, I told you, this is going to be a fun episode. I think, but
I'm with it.
But, you know, I think for me, this is my time of the year. You know, for you guys that don't know, I'm not a huge just NFL fan. I like the Bills, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Literally it.
I watch Saturday, and I watch 1 o'clock when the Bills are on, and then the TV goes off. I couldn't care less. I play fantasy football because that's how I stay tapped in to know what I'm talking about here.
Yep.
But
and then blah blah blah, and then the Super Bowl, and then
and then I wake up because you saw how I got when the draft came.
Yeah.
When free agency. See, I think what it is, and I was telling my friend, I said, the reason why I think we are is you look into coaching. You like the X's and O's and how to do that. And
very much so.
So that's why you get on McDermott. That's where this came from. He said, because we were talking about Madden, and he got me into talking about our exploits with Kobe Listenby. Remember him?
Yeah,
And
dude.
so
97 speed, bro.
Yes.
By the way.
and I told him, I said, you were having the ball. I said, you couldn't do no wrong with this dude.
Mm-mm, not at all.
It didn't matter who was throwing the ball.
Yep.
So I said, yeah. I said, he said, so tell me, whose idea was it? I said, what do you mean? He's like, you know what I'm talking about. I said, what are you talking about? He's like, who picked him? I'm like, Doug Whaley or Rex. I'm not sure because it was 2016.
Okay, yeah.
He said, oh, I thought you were going to say McDermott like y'all always do. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I can't pile on him for something he wasn't here for.
Right.
I said, furthermore, I said A's grievances with McDermott, and that's where this epiphany came.
Yeah.
My I don't care about McDermott. He can stay as long as he wants. See, my grievances with Bean, because I want to be that scout dude. I like analytics. I like numbers. I like money. I like that kind of stuff. I like to do that. Your agency did.
Yep.
So I'm going to be critical of that. I don't want to say that I don't care about a Super Bowl, because I do, because it's Buffalo. Who doesn't want a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
But more so, I want a team that's viable every year, that brings in the talent with the money that they're supposed to make. I want a guy that didn't lowball, somebody that can maneuver, somebody that's known out there to pull in top talent like a Howie Roseman, something like that. Somebody that can identify in the draft early that that stud or whatever the case may be. And listening to Joe Marino on the way in here, it kind of solidified what I was saying. He said, the Bills are going to have $6 million in cap space as it stands right now in 2026.
What?
$6 million in 2026, not this year, next year. So all the big money spending we're talking about ain't gonna happen.
Wow.
So you're talking about, I had it on my phone. You're talking about, I think 4 or 5 teams have over 100 million next year, including the Jets. I'm not as worried about the Jets because they find a way to screw everything up anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're a Jets fan here, I'm sorry, but but when I look at I think I was talking to, I forget who it was, maybe Diltro in the comments, and he said, well, what are you looking for? I said, well, I don't want a team that just destroys the cap, because there's nothing to show for it.
Right.
And even the most staunch supporter has to give pause. Why do we not have any money? Why are we still looking for answers at certain places? Why do we have, Taylor Rapp starting? Why does Damar Hamlin? Why do we have these things? And other teams are getting nice shiny toys, and that's what drives me nuts. If we got the guys that we think they mesh and they play well together and third, and it's exciting. We got the people that fly all over. Fine, you try. You went out. You swung. Don't be safe. And that's where they're when before Josh got his contract, they were like, oh, we got Vaughn, we got this, we got that, we got stuff. But then we had to pay Josh. We can't do that no more. And furthermore, we ain't got no money to do nothing.
Right.
So now we're doing all these 1-year deals. Jordan Phillips back here for the 6th time, and Quentin Jeffersons and people and so for me it just bugs me, because it's like, what's on the field I don't care about. One of my favorite games. Remember NFL head coach?
Yes.
I love that game.
I never played that game.
Dude,
I'm like, hey, coach, who cares?
You can't play it. That's the thing. You can't play the games.
No, bro. No, I can't do that.
You have to go out there. You have to devise the practice schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work the salary cap. You got to go scout. You got to do all these things. And then, like, before the games, I think it was, who was it? I don't know. One of the guys at the time comes on and tells you, with the way the Buffalo Bills were scouting this week, or the way the Buffalo Bills were practicing this week, they look like they're good to go this week against whoever they're playing. Or if you do a bad job with your game plan, they'll say, I don't know about that game plan. You're in trouble. And so what you can do from there is you get to hire your assistant coaches. You get to hire your D coordinators, your special team. And based on what you're willing to give them. So some of them will say, I'll only come to you if you let me call my own plays. Some of them, I'll only come to you if you let me scout my guy. I'll only come to you if you give me this player.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the option of saying, okay, I'll take this guy at this price, or not. But then when you get to the game, if you say, I'm calling plays, you call the plays, you're at the mercy of the game. You have to sit there and watch it.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, yo, I gotta do this. This is the best thing ever. And if Ken wouldn't have broke my PlayStation 3, I'd probably go home and play it tonight. And it's 2009 is the last time they made this game. Andre Woodson is the best quarterback on the game.
So wait, you still have the game, but just not the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he put a penny in there back like 8 years ago. So yeah.
Do you still have the PlayStation 3?
I still have a PlayStation 3.
I can open it up and get the penny.
If you break it, whatever. It's better than what it is. Fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, fine. If you break, I don't care. Don't even worry about replacing it.
If I can't get it started, I know a guy who can.
Wait, hi Mike, hi Rich, hi Tech.
There you go.
I don't know why I think about him. I really didn't.
Yeah.
And Alton said, I remember when everybody was glazing on Kobe listening to me because of Madden.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? You're the only person that ever told me about that. I never thought about him ever.
You had the sadistic look in your eye when you saw the Magic. You were like, this is so stupid. 300 yards, 400 yards. This is dumb.
Yo, he literally had almost 400 yards receiving on his
Every
own.
time you play.
And I think his average yards per catch was like 50. It's unbelievable.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Why can't they stop this?
And this was on All Madden I was playing. This on. And he's still putting up those kind of numbers. Like nobody could stop this dude.
He was like a 66 overall, so nobody knows about this guy. But yeah, no. So when it comes to my favorite part of the season, it's now. It's when the games happen. Yeah, I'll talk about what you guys want to talk about and all that stuff. But right now, we're talking about why did they take this guy? I'm gonna scrutinize, not because I hate him, but because this is my wheelhouse. This is all I know. This is what I do. When the season starts, I'm watching college. So because I'm gonna do the same shows. I'm gonna do the same write-ups as I did this year, next year. So. So that's a little insight into why I am as crazy as I am. I don't have an issue with McDermott at all. I really don't hate Bean. I just look at him under a microscope because that's the one I want to emulate. That's the one I want to dissect and figure out what's going on.
Yeah. I think, excuse me, with Sean, and this might have been something that I needed to start the show with saying, because I always, when we first started doing this show, I always said, first and foremost, we want the Bills to win. But I don't think that really speaks to the heart of the criticism for Sean McDermott, right? I think the criticism for Sean McDermott is if there was incremental improvement in his performance in the playoffs and in some of those certain areas that we see weaknesses on the team, and namely the defense, if we saw improvement year over year, I think every person who thinks like me would be content to, okay, you know what? This year was better than last year.
Yep.
So we see constant and consistent improvement based on the trajectory we see him on. He'll probably be there in 2 or 3 years. We just got to give him time.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's fair. I think if that's what we were seeing, it would be absolutely fair to say, just give him time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at what we've seen, there's years, where he'll have great success like last year. And then the following year, the team will fall flat on his face. And you're looking like, what the hell happened?
Right.
And then somebody will point to, that guy was injured and he plays a pivotal part in the defense. So you can't blame it on Sean McDermott. You mean to tell me this great coaching scheme he has that's supposed to produce great production from low tier talent couldn't work for the backup? You couldn't get out of AJ Klein what you needed to get out of AJ Klein in that divisional round here at home, like that. Again, I don't want to rehash that stuff, but that's.
Well, yeah, I think to your point, it's because they say he's a defensive genius, and they said so. You figure you're resting assured like, we good then, and then when you see it not be good, you're like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
I thought we
were good. We've seen the Wade Phillips of the world, the Steve Spagnuolos of the world. We even had. Who was the guy that you loved that we had here? The wide 9 guy.
Schwartz.
Yeah, we had Jim Schwartz here. Like we've had some great defensive minds here in the building, and we've seen great defensive minds across the league. So it's not like we don't know what great elite defense looks like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just that we haven't seen it here. Thank you, Kevin. But I wanted to get to.
He knows me because you didn't give him any breadcrumbs, so you said wide 9, and he was like, "Sweet Schwartz."
Yeah,
the guy you like. I'm like, you know who I like.
Roy says, "Welcome, fellow McDermottites."
Well, if you haven't started with the show, we gave everybody flowers. Okay, it's a fun show.
No doubt. We're gonna try to make it as fun show as we can, but I wanted to bring this out, and I don't know if everybody got a chance to see Sean McDermott on Sal Capaccio's podcast. Did you get a chance to see
I heard highlights, but I didn't watch it. No.
Okay, so I thought this point that I'm going to play for you guys was kind of interesting, and it also basically just solidified what I've been saying as far as what Sean McDermott's perception is on the goal of the team. And frankly, he didn't say championships. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play this for you guys really quick, and you tell me what you think.
What has been a tremendously successful 8 now going on 9 years, and every year is different. We don't take it for granted, our success, but the level of success that we've experienced and been able to sustain has been, I think, unique around the NFL. And I think maybe one of the team, if we're not at the top, we're maybe second in terms of the number of wins, still searching for the title of best in the world. And when you wake up with that in mind, you're walking a very thin balance beam in what you're trying to accomplish every day. But that's what we set off every morning to do, is to create a product that our fan base can be proud of, and wake up every morning with the hope of, hey, my team's got a good chance to win every weekend, every Sunday. So we've got the best fan base in the NFL.
All right. So look, if this was, I don't know, Green Bay or New York, the Giants, or, I mean, hell, if Andy Reid came out and said something like this, people would be like, what?
Yeah.
What to go out and give the fans something to be proud of?
Yeah.
Bro, make me proud with a championship. Never mind all of the mushy gushy foolishness that this whole episode was about, was about the connection between the team and the fans. That's nice. That's fun. That's great. I'm pretty sure to a degree every team has a foundation of fans that support it in that way, and they have that connection with the team. It may not be as widespread as it is here in Buffalo. We do need to give ourselves credit for that. I've heard a lot of people, with me driving Uber, say that a lot of fans don't rep their team like Bills fans rep their team.
Mm-hmm.
And like nationally, you know what I'm saying? So for sure, props to us. But again, we know, and we've heard Coach D say this, from a player's perspective, it's about championships, right? Our players' careers are defined by championships. It's the reason why Davante Adams wanted to leave the Jets. It's the reason why OBJ keeps bouncing around. It's the reason why who's the corner?
Hopkins. Well, I was
the
gonna
corner
say
from
Hopkins
Miami.
too. He's still
Hopkins.
playing.
Yeah.
You talking about Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey is about to get cut from the Dolphins because they can't find a trade partner to take him and his salary. He wants to go somewhere and win a championship.
Mm-hmm.
Players who are at that level and have been elite for so long, they reach a point where the winning is not enough too.
Yeah, they made their money. Don't care about it anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, at the end of the day, it becomes about, I want a championship, right? So look, to be honest, this wasn't even the point of me bringing this up at all.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw this interview, what I thought was extremely interesting was something that kind of gives a little bit of validation to a theory that I had, I think, before the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And that theory was, I think that there is a fissure that is developed between Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott. And I think this appearance and how this appearance by Sean McDermott started is a clear indicator that Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have been separating themselves from one another.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was evident by something. It was something last week as well. I forgot what it was, but I think we talked about it then. You're right. They're not on the same accord, and I think I brought it out when I was talking about how for the draft you had Baltimore. You had who was that? I forget the GM's name, but you had Harbaugh with the GM. You had the pro personnel guy from the from wherever. You got the other GM. So they're always together.
Yep.
They show a united front, but you never see Beane and McDermott together. You see Dalton Kincaid and I don't know who Cyrus Torrance will say doing pressers together. You see Connor McGovern and Dawson Knott, but you never see these two together. They got it. That's the part that we're missing. They can say all day we're all one voice, one sound, one love, blah blah blah. But until you got to show it.
Yeah.
And to Lynn's point, it says Buffalo Bills choose love on A's hat. Just so you know, he said he like you.
Oh yeah. Man, I think this was either NFL.com or NewEra.com, one of the two. So, if you want to go ahead and grab it there, I think they still got it. I think
they might have something similar if they don't have that exact one, but yeah,
they got these nice. They're huh? Oh, New Era. Okay, thank you, son. No, but they got these really nice gray and burgundy Bills hats. It's like a silverish gray, but they go like that color scheme goes really nice with these J's I got. So
I have Pumas on. That's all I got. I just got Pumas.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what
I
J's
love
do.
Pumas.
I mean, no frills.
listen.
By far, probably the most comfortable shoe I think I've ever worn.
Listen,
No
Like,
frills.
period.
This is what I got.
Yeah.
This is it.
Pumas are the best shoes. Okay.
They're extremely
I
comfortable.
love Pumas.
I couldn't. This is the second pair of these I have. I
Yeah.
get them from Famous Footwear though. I don't
had
go.
Pumas before.
If it ain't Famous Footwear, I can't do it. I can't. You know, when I went to like a quick story about the Jordans.
Yeah.
I went to the outlet with T one time. You know, and I was staunchly against Jordan because you know I was like, yo, it's just a name. And you know, growing up poor, you can. Well, I wasn't poor, but my mom wasn't doing it.
Right.
I was a Pickway person. Anybody want to know Pickway?
Oh my God, I remember Pickway.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, so you know, we went to the outlet and they had these Jordans. I think they're the 12s, the one with like the weird toe. The side of the toe is like I don't know. But anyway, I'm like, all right, fine. These are my favorite ones. I'll buy some. So I put them on. I'm like, cool. And the guy said, "You want?" I said, "What do they do?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "What are the features? Like, do they have air pockets? He's like, "No." I'm like, "So why? What about these?" He's like, "They're Jordan." I said, "But then they do what?" He's like, "Nothing." I said, "Man, get these things off my feet."
Right.
I just walked to
at
the store.
least the shoe with the basketball on
Right.
the front, tighten up around the
Do the
ankles or
pumps.
something. Give me a little bit of extra pep in my jump, you know, something.
Like, can I touch the backboard? What's up?
We got a few comments here I want to
Right,
get
yeah,
to. Okay, so Lynn said East champion. I think he meant to say AFC East championships are McDermott's championships for real. Senke says we are legit Carolina Bills. Cam was elite, no added talent, but a running back sounds familiar.
Mhm.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah.
Oh,
This the one.
Kev was good too. That went right above it.
This
Yeah,
one?
he said you don't see Josh Allen and McDermott together either. He's a bean guy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I've even pointed out in certain post game speeches that they show of Sean McDermott where
You did. Yep.
like Josh had this look on his face, like, yeah, all right.
And that tears me to pieces. And that's where my negativity towards Josh comes, because if you truly feel like that,
You got to say something.
you
You're
gotta say it to me, but it's like, yo, I know you're not saying that because he's like, Josh, I love you, man. He's like, love you too, man. Part of his soul dies every time.
Right.
Love you too. Don't say it. Make him wonder. Make him think, does this dude like me? You know, Josh, you're the guy. You are the Jordan of Buffalo right now.
Okay, let me say this. I've worked for a nonprofit,
Mhm.
right? And even before that, I was in plenty of situations where you couldn't necessarily be as real as you wanted to
Right.
be. You know what I'm saying? And I that was always my frustration with jobs, right? I think that's the reason why I like doing what I do, you know, driving, Lyft, and Uber, and I got my businesses and stuff that I work on,
yep.
you know, on top of that.
Mhm.
Like is the ability to, if I need to walk away from somebody, I'll just walk away from somebody.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't want somebody getting in my car, I'm not desperate for the money, bro. You
Right.
good. If you either want to get in or not. What
Right.
are we doing? You know, like seriously, I had this guy and he had some kind of leg injury he was, you know, dealing with or whatever, but he had a cast on his leg.
Yeah.
And his wife gets in the back first, and he gets in and he's like, you know, what the F you got me walking all the way down the block for? Can't you see that I'm like,
bam,
my
out.
man, like
Out.
if that's how it's gonna be, you can just get out right now. Like I don't have to put up with that. And that to me is like that's the kind of, like, I need that in my life. I can't do the fake stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't come up to me and try to shake my hand if we ain't people like that.
Right.
If you want to have a conversation, we gotta have a conversation, straighten things out, cool. But you know, again, the idea that
Certified
What?
said you should have backed up over him.
I got no chill.
I didn't say certified.
Listen.
No chill, man.
yo, I kid you not, when I was pulling off from there,
Mhm.
I was like, I should have just ran your behind over. I said that. I
You're
said in my
yeah,
like
you
so
lucky.
Renaissance. We here. Or I'm sorry, no, that was Certified
That was
Genius. My bad.
Certified Genius, yeah.
Oh, Certified. What's going on?
Ren,
I
like,
don't
what
know
I
who-
do?
I've never seen you in the chat before, but guess what? Part of the family now.
I
So
think he was here.
Was
what's today? I think he's here Monday.
wait, Monday.
I think so.
You saw him?
I think so. I talked to him.
Like personally, or
No, but on the thing
or
or
on the chat.
either in the chat or I
Okay.
don't know. I'm
Well-
old, dude. I don't remember.
My apologies, certified genius. I didn't get a chance to see you in the midst of whatever
Wait,
conversation.
I got this. Certified. Aramis certified. Now y'all know each other.
That's not how this works. That's not how this works. I have to introduce myself.
Big Papa. Okay.
It's fake
you
if
got
you
it.
do it for me.
Papa, you got you in there. I see you. Yeah, no, it's funny because like there
Yes,
got,
Steve. He's,
oh Lord.
Hold on, old man.
Oh.
You want another cast for the other leg?
You would really want one? It looks kind of lonely.
Oh my shit. Yep. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no, I think being in the corporate biz too, I know how to fake the funk. We all do. Everybody, you see those memes now that everybody's work from home and all this stuff where it's like,
Yeah.
the meeting and you got yourself on mute and you're doing all sorts of other stuff. But then when they say, okay, we're going to be 5 minutes back on your time, you are like, oh, clink, thank you. And then you click off. You ain't said nothing the whole meeting, but you the first one, thank you. And then bounce,
Right.
and it's like, all right, everybody's sharing and stuff. I've been here for 15 years and I'm so excited to be there. But you don't believe none of that stuff. I don't say it. So anybody that's watching this that works with me, it ain't me. But anyway, yeah, I have a corporate job and then I have another job that I've been doing for a long time. I'm trying to retire from that one. So that's why you see me with glasses on, because I couldn't put contacts in the day.
Yeah, the man only gets like what, 3 hours.
I've gotten off at 3:00 the last couple of days. I'm supposed to go up at 1.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 1 and it doesn't matter. And I started 7. I started 8 in the morning and I go until 3 in the morning usually. And then you gotta remember I picked Ken up and dropped him off and he came home. Dad, I'm hungry. Oh, you see me working. I said, what you have for lunch? He said, you know what I had? I'm like, you didn't eat. Okay.
Dang.
Okay.
You
I
don't
said,
like school lunches?
no,
Wow.
because see, he gets home and I'm like, that's what we messed up. We never give him kid food. So when you go to school, he's like, it looked nasty. I was like, what was it? Meatball subs. See, T works in the same school system. So
Yeah.
I said, T, what was it? She's like, meatballs. They looked all right. He's like, And I'm like, who are you? I said,
Yeah, but the cooking y'all do at y'all house is just
Well, see,
unbelievable.
that's the thing. See, this is what I told him. I said, T, watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to his school and watch what they do. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna make that. That's gonna be dinner. He was like, you just saw his face. He was like, the horror.
Like you told him he was getting a bag of coal for Christmas.
Yo, the horror on his face.
That's crazy.
That was wrong with you.
He's like, you son of a bitch.
I was like, you're my father.
Right. What's going on, Mark?
What up?
Oh snap! What's up, Pop?
I had Wade, but he came in too smooth with it, so he ain't even.
You know what I'm saying?
He was like, nah.
Came in with the suit and tie.
Yeah, I was like, he's like, nah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen them dress shoes in a minute. Oh my gosh! All right,
Where
so
were we? I think this is a football show. I don't know.
well, yeah. Here. So I think we can take a break for something that's a little bit of fun, right? And I need help understanding this.
Oh, I'll give him a glass of.
Yeah. It looked like you've been working all day.
Yeah.
Pop, you need a glass of Reed's tea. That's what you need.
need some
You look like
Reed's.
you've been working hard, Pop.
Have yourself a double. Get you a double of that Reed's tea.
You got? Can we get some?
He's like, I got half a swig left. Y'all want to split it?
That's how it is every time. I'm starting to feel slighted.
He's like, I got half a swig left. Y'all want to split?
Right.
Split.
All right, so check this out. I got a question.
What up?
What do you say?
Roy said Coke 45.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, one of those right now. Why do we say in a car and not in a boat?
I have no idea.
Like, just think about that for a second.
Mhm.
Think about it for a second. When we ride in a car, the car is on what? The road,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we don't say I'm riding on a car.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, you can say you're riding on a car. You're sitting
can,
on something.
yeah.
You're sitting on a chair that's screwed into a car, right?
Yeah.
Now, the same thing applies to a boat. If I'm riding on a boat, everybody says I'm always riding on a boat.
Mhm.
But where are you sitting actually? You're
Yeah.
sitting in
In
the
the
boat.
Do people say in the bus? People say on a bus too.
People say on the bus. That's right. That's like what
I don't know.
what's the differentiation?
I have
Like
no
where's
idea.
the cutoff point between in and on? I don't understand. Y'all got to help me out with this.
Teachers out there.
I'm
Beth,
really
you
trying
in
to
here?
figure this out.
Anybody? Mom, text me. I don't know.
Why this is quickly turning into high thoughts. Roy says, "Why do we park in a driveway but drive on a parkway?" No, that's not the same. That's not the same.
What is happening?
Because they are on the water. Well, okay, and I did think about that too. But what about cruise ships?
Yeah.
You're in a cruise ship. You're not on a cruise ship.
I'm in the bed on a cruise ship.
Right. You can say I'm standing on the deck of a cruise ship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But once I go sit down to eat dinner or something, like I'm in the cruise
you're
ship.
inside the ship. Yeah.
Right. So
Bro, what is happening right now?
what do you mean?
What is happening?
It's a legitimate question.
Yeah, you know, I feel like after this we need to like plug Macy's or something because this is really high thoughts. This is really high thoughts.
High thoughts.
We are way up there.
Bro, my brain's about to rot, bro.
High class thoughts.
High class thoughts. There
This
you
gonna
go.
be a new segment. High class thoughts.
High class thoughts. I'm gonna be looking at the camera like, bro, what am I hearing right now?
So Mark says probably because most boats are enclosed.
Yeah, but you're on a boat though. And I was thinking that. And I was gonna say because you're inside of an enclosed vehicle in the car, but then that's why I was like, but you're on a bus. You're
Right.
enclosed. I don't know.
Like think about a speedboat. A speedboat is just like a convertible car.
Yeah.
You're sitting in a seat and that boat is on water, but the car is on pavement.
Yeah.
Laura, please help me.
What?
Laura, if
No,
you're in the chat,
she's working. No,
Yeah, it's Friday.
She's at work.
She usually be
Laura.
gone Fridays.
she ain't here.
Laura,
It's her day off.
Yeah,
You know what?
she'll get to you in the comments.
You better
tomorrow.
find a different friend somewhere.
It-
We got 674
Laura's
of them.
my
Find
only
one.
friend.
No, we got
No,
675 in the
Laura's my only
comments. Find
friend.
one.
Yeah, the producer's gonna need a ride home.
Yep. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Canoes aren't. Yeah, but you still have to sit in a canoe.
you do.
Oh my
People say sit in a canoe. You got to sit in it.
Yeah.
You don't say I'm. What are you doing? I'm sitting on my canoe. You got to get in it to sit down.
If you want to come do, what are you really doing? What are we really doing?
Right. So,
So yeah, no, I mean, what are we really doing inside it? If you're, I don't know, it's a mind screw.
yes, Ben. Yes, exactly. So that's the equivalent. So people saying you don't. He says so. You're saying you don't sit in a Corvette. You sit on a Corvette.
Okay,
I'm saying you sit in a Corvette, but I'm also saying you
Who said
sit
that?
in
Who
a
said
boat
that?
too.
Who
Spin.
said that?
no, this is where I turn into Junior.
Spin. I'm telling you this right now. This making complete nonsense right now.
What is this nonsense?
This is where I turn into Junior.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
They're just making complete nonsense right now. They're not even talking about football right now.
Pause.
Oh, right? Yes.
Pause.
Yes. Exactly.
But this is where I turn into Junior.
I was at the pause, fam.
No, this
I
no,
was at
You
Pause.
can't hijack the camera.
right?
I
We
was
need
like,
we need it too.
No, you don't need a camera now. No.
He said you don't need
You don't need a
the
camera.
camera.
You don't need a camera.
But this this
Why?
is
Because we ain't doing the show.
this
They're
is
not talking about football. They're not talking about football, y'all.
Go ahead.
he said. Laura says she can't save you from the tomfoolery. Oh, so she says she can't help you either. No, so okay.
Laura,
This is
I
the
thought
last.
it was cool.
No, but this is the last thing I'm
I
gonna
thought it
say.
was cool.
When it comes to you saying what are we even doing right now? Spin and A are aligned right now. That's when I'm like, oh snap.
I thought it was cooler. What happened?
No, you are cool. She's cool, but
Yeah.
she can't vouch for you because she can't figure it out either. None of us
Oh,
can.
Mark said it's all T-Pain's fault. I'm on a boat. Yeah, that's probably right. All right. So
All right, fine, Kevin. Dang.
I know.
Okay.
They want to hear football.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. No.
So-
Okay. This is what we'll do. Well, go ahead.
No, you go.
All right. So with the news that came out, everybody got their numbers.
Oh, they did.
They got their numbers.
Okay. Who's
So-
learned what?
Okay. So first and foremost, Max Hairston, 31. TJ, yeah, 31.
Why?
Rasula's done. Rasula, he out of here.
I mean, he was already done.
well, he
but-
wore 31 in his first year, and he can't have one because Curtis Samuel's on the team. So 31. Get it.
Okay.
TJ Sanders, 98.
Okay.
Landon
I
Jackson.
like it.
Yeah. And then Landon Jackson, 94.
I like that.
I don't
I
know.
like 94 at defensive end. I like that.
I don't know.
That's old school. boy.
Those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah, it's
'Cause-
true.
So, what do you want to say, Mario? He's like,
Mario, you need some water?
no, I'm good. He's like the black version of Bobcat Goldthwait.
No, yeah,
Um,
that's right. That's We used to say that all the time. Oh, here go Bobcat on the press conference. All right.
Let's see. Deion Walker, 96. Jordan Hancock, 37. Jackson Hawes, 85. Dorian Strong, 43.
What?
Yeah.
What is the issue with these DBs?
I don't know.
Why does every one of our corners have to have an awkward number?
Well, I mean, Maxwell Harrison, 31 is about it.
31 is...
That is about it.
No.
Watch out now.
No.
Watch out.
What happened to 24, 22, 26? Who'd they pick? Will Johnson just got picked to lead all rookies in interceptions next year.
That's all right. I mean, you know.
Interestingly enough,
that's all right.
Could have had him twice.
What, did he get 31 as well?
He wearing number 0.
Okay.
For the Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Respect.
Dorian Strong, 43. Chase Lund, 77. Caden Prather, 81.
Okay. All right.
So,
all right.
So this made me think. Is the number really that important?
I mean, it depends on why the player is wearing it. If it's just, if they don't care, then no, it's really not that important. But
Okay.
I like, see, I am a little bit old school in that way where I liked the receivers wearing either in something in the 80s or something in the teens. You know, quarterback, you was only going as high as 18.
18.
You know what I mean? I've never seen a quarterback wear 19, but
I you know me.
Who?
Bernie Kosar.
Bernie Kosar wore 19? Oh, okay.
Okay, boom. There you go.
I'm not old enough.
Yes,
to
you are.
that.
Yes, you are. No, Mafia Sports Experience. Yes, he is.
I gotta take a shot when I can.
No, you're not doing it because Mafia Sports Experience is listening. He said we weren't born in the 80s.
What? Huh?
Remember, he's like when Norwood.
Oh yeah.
So
well,
we can't say anything that makes it seem that we're not old enough to remember anything. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
I have memories from older than I was born.
Only me.
Alton says, "No, Bradford rocking 47 is fine." Look,
Benford. Yeah.
What did I say?
Benford. You said Bradford.
Bradford. I'm sorry.
Just only because only reason I said that because it's not on the screen, so they couldn't see it.
Oh, okay, got you. So I actually I think this: if a player comes out and makes a number popular, I'm all for it. Like Benford getting 47, he was a 6th round pick.
Yeah,
and the fact that he chose to stick with it and became good using that same number, okay, fine. But that still doesn't negate the Charles Woodsons of the world who are just legendary players wearing 24. You know, Darrelle Revis wore 24. I mean, for a time period in Boston, Gilmore wore 24. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like numbers like that, like 88 as a receiver, like numbers like that are just iconic, man. Like I'm not a fan of getting as far away from that as you possibly can. And for every last one of our corners to be something different. Like,
just thought about it.
What?
Who else wore number 47 at some point?
Here?
Yeah.
I'm going to be mad when you tell me.
Yes, you are. You know who it is, just based on my response. You know who it is. We've had many conversations about this guy.
Levi Wallace?
He wore 47 at one point.
No,
that was his first number. Yeah, I think it was his first number.
He was 37 after that, though, right?
He was
39.
39.
Yes,
39. Then Cam Lewis was 47 when he first came because Levi Wallace went 39.
Oh, yeah.
And now Benford is 47.
So Benford said, I'm going to save all the rookies from having to come in and wear this number, and I'm just going to rock it for the rest of my career. Respect. I get it. I'm cool with it.
So the reason why I really thought about that was...
I'm sorry, real quick. See, this is our qualifier. Miguel said, when y'all said Bobcat, I knew y'all was old. There you go. now Bill's Mafia Experience can't say nothing to us.
No,
we mentioned Bobcat. It's
over. Bobcat goes...
I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When you take a cactus and you put it next to you and then you sit on it by accident and just,
He's like the high voice version of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right, exactly. That's right.
Yeah, Nathan, I had to wear the glasses because the contacts weren't happening today.
Yeah.
To go further with the numbers, though, when I say what goes into a number, I want to ask you, when you played basketball, football, whatever the case may be, was there a number you really wanted to wear?
Yeah. 24 when I was playing basketball, and 21 when I played football.
Okay.
But I could never have those numbers. I ended up being running back and safety.
Mine was 80.
Yep. Yeah, but you wore 80 as a linebacker, which was crazy.
That's crazy numbers.
That was crazy.
I was a wide receiver too.
But
Yeah,
that's
what?
still
I know,
crazy.
I
You
know.
need to wear you had to wear like 20 something.
No,
to
oh
be
no,
like,
no,
whoa,
no.
That's
No,
crazy.
as you know, it was crazy
Hmm.
because I was supposed to only play wide receiver, but my coaches kind of, I don't know, they just decided to put me as middle linebacker for some reason.
That's like if you were like a safety at number 80. That'd be
I
weird.
like
The rest would be so confused. Like, who's on offense? How's he playing safety?
Yeah.
well, because I wanted to play DB and wide receiver.
I was really tight because when I got a little bit older, and I was out of high school and everything, I was playing flag football and they gave us our jerseys and my number was 00.
Oh.
I was pissed.
It was like-
it was 00,
like-
bro. Like, what am I gonna do with this?
You're like, not since Robert Parrish have I seen this.
Look, that might have contributed to the 9 interceptions I got that season.
Yeah, I gotta get more than 0 somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I actually was 31, but the story behind me being 31 is basketball. Guys, like I said, I played football much. I think they call it 37U now.
Mm.
Basically, I wasn't an old guy, but a lot of old guys went out and tried to get themselves hurt. That's
Oh,
what
you're
I
talking
did.
about semi-pro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people they think you get paid. I didn't get paid, so
I thought you
no, I didn't get paid.
did. I was
Nope.
like, man, they got to give you something every
No,
game.
we didn't get. We got a lot of cuts and bruises. That's what we got.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I mean, when I played basketball, it was 8th grade. I remember, they went. I went at number 2,
Mm-hmm.
but I was really tall, and the guard he wanted it, so I said, all right, cool, and then they went down the line, and I said, man, I gotta get 33 because I was a big Scottie Pippen fan. I had to have 33, or 31 because I don't know why I went to 31, but what ended up happening was they went and they went 30, 32, 30. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, where'd 31 go? I'm scared. 33. I can't be in the 40s. I cannot be in the 40s. The next jersey they put out there, I committed 31. The dude that got it, I wanted to knuckle up on him, but it wasn't him. It was, yeah. He was like that growing up. So nah, I ain't. Mm-mm.
Oh yeah, you had to eat that.
Yeah, I had to take it on the chin.
You had to eat that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I took that 30. So then when I went to high school, I eventually got 31. I said, cool. Then when I was supposed to play for college,
Mhm.
my jersey was 31. The knee didn't jibe. So I had a jersey in the locker, but I never wore it because when you're in practice every other day, you got to take Celebrex just to get through the pain.
Jeez.
Yeah, my knee was
Did
so
they
bad.
hand it out to you on the
No,
way
I got
out
it from
of the
my
locker?
dad.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it
Hey,
from my
son,
dad.
I left some Celebrex on the hood of your car.
I'm
right?
I'm like hobbling to his house. He's like, I'm like, dude, I don't even know what that is. He's like, take some, trust me. Then I read what it does to you. I said, yeah, no, my basketball career is over. I need my kidneys in my liver. I'm only 20.
Yeah.
I said, I need all this. This got to happen. Drinking came, and I said, I don't need all that bad. No, I'm joking, but but then what was I gonna say? Yeah, what was the ugliest number you ever wore? Well, 00. You said it.
00. It's
Yeah.
the worst number I've ever had.
We got Alton said John Lynch wore 47. Billy D, you wore 76?
Did he really? Oh yeah, but he played O-line, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he
Okay.
played O-line, so that
All right.
76 is good.
And Nathan said he had 13 as a number from junior high through college as a soccer player because no one else wanted it. 13 solid. You would have fought Gabe Davis for it though.
Yeah.
Roy said I was too much of a screw off for sports in school, so numbers never meant anything to me, not even grades, huh? Damn shame.
Man, got him right there.
So yeah, I actually had to wear 43 at one point, and it was the ugliest thing because my jersey. Oh, he was born in 76. Okay, Billy, that makes sense. I should have worn a 0 to make it look like a big racetrack or a donut. That was a sweet move. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I was a center, so I was in the paint. That when the paint meant something to people. These days, they want to shoot the 3.
Yo, Kev said he had 99 as a safety. What? Yo.
Dude, that's gotta be the worst number you've ever had. What number?
Whoa, take it down. Take it down. That's
What?
over.
What?
That's over with.
What?
You can't beat that.
Oh no, yeah, we got to put that. Yeah, that's
You
it.
can't beat that.
We can't even have this conversation no more.
99 is a safety, and I was gonna say because my jersey had one of my numbers was stitched on it was a different font than the other one. Yeah.
Wait, who said that? I think it was Lynn that said, yeah, fabric and dye is what numbers are made of.
That's it. That's what goes into a
They
number.
didn't figure that out
it.
for you.
Nope. I asked it. They put the wrong font on there, so
That's
my 7 was
crazy.
slanted to the side. Yeah, I know you hated 99, but you know it's funny. I wore 99 in City for my first year. I was a D tackle, then I went DN, and then I went to 91 where I stayed. That's my favorite football number, which is only because of the inverse of 19, which they never let me have. They said, what numbers do you guys want? I said 19. They said, hell no. I said, why?
Because tradition.
This
It's
is
tradition.
back. Yeah, this is back then. And I'm like, yo, it'll be solid though, because I remember there was a guy at UB and old timers probably. Kevin said that's when I knew I was a scrub. They said, what do we got left, fellas? 99 here.
Right. They didn't even hand it to him. They just threw it at his face.
Right, here's no for his feet. Pick it up.
There you go. Son.
You can't touch my hands. You reek of failure. No.
Dang. Kevin's probably still dealing with stuff from them days,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Jeez.
That's trash. 99. But I mean, yeah, but to be fair, my 99 was a snug 99. Yeah, no, but I went at 19, they wouldn't let me have it. And my thing was this. What do numbers make you look sweet? Did they make you look trash?
If you're trash and you're wearing a dope number,
take it off.
No, it's like, look, I'm so serious. Somebody who doesn't know you from a hole in the wall could be watching the game and you're playing corner and you're wearing 24 and you getting torched. Somebody could easily say, oh, he probably just having an off day.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wearing 24.
You got mad drip. Yo, this dude is solid.
Right. You got the armbands on. You got all kind of stuff.
If you
right?
just throw a smoke visor on, they were like, yo, this dude is hard. Look at this.
You can make a case. Like, he probably just having an off day. He probably ate before he came to the game and he's got to poop, so he ain't playing that well. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know.
he got 2 different color shoes. Yo, he a truth. I'm scared. I'm going home.
Right.
I can't. He gonna lock me up.
He ain't really trash. It's an off day. It's an off day. Real players know though. Real players like why he got all that stuff on. He trash. He trash.
I found out much later.
Yeah, right.
Much later.
You learn not
Sight
to do
me
all
smooth out. I'm like, yo, this dude gonna be he an assassin. Nah, he was horrible.
Yep.
He shot like this. I'm like,
Sean Marion.
I'm like, what was that? Wow. Okay, so Billy D said he wore 17. Was it Billy D say he wore 17 in college? I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy D said he wore 17 in college. And Kev, he had 3 interceptions that year. Next year he changed to 24. So they allowed him to unlock. See, it's like on Fortnite. It's like on Fortnite when you get to that level 2, another number opens up. It unlocks that little lock. That's what happened.
A little gold star appears above Billy D. Starts spitting. You hear this little tinkle noise, and all of a sudden the jersey just illuminates itself right in front of him. You've earned me.
It just sucks onto.
Right? What?
How was that a pause?
I did. Today,
you don't even know. He just wanted to be included. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm trolling today.
All right.
All right. Whatever.
So,
yeah.
So I have a. I have a. How can I say this? I don't think it's a conspiracy, but I think there's a wave coming that I think is very interesting, right? Did you see what Jaden Higgins and Colston Loveland got paid?
No.
Both of their contracts are fully guaranteed.
You're top 10. So is Ashton Tinty.
Okay.
He's the number 8 highest paid running back in the league.
Jaden Higgins got the first fully guaranteed contract that a second round pick has ever, like in NFL history. No second round pick has ever gotten a fully guaranteed contract. He got it from the Houston Texans, right?
Gotta have it.
So one of the things that I don't remember about the NFL recently, or really in the time that I've been watching, is fully guaranteed contracts. I mean, there was such a big deal made about Deshaun Watson getting one. I don't think I've ever seen a rookie get one until this year, right? Now, first round, I would say there's some justification to that. If you really love the guy, you know, and you expect him to come in and be a superstar for your team, lock him in. More power to you, right? And I'm not even dumping on Jaden Higgins getting one, because I love the player, and I think him on that offense with Nico Collins makes that passing game instantly dangerous, right? I mean, if and I know Tank Dell's going to be out for another season, but if he can come back from his injury in another year, and Houston invested in 2 receivers in this draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2 years, you're looking at 4 wide receivers coming at you strong that you're going to have an issue dealing with CJ Stroud throwing him the ball. Right. So I think stuff like that is worth it. But this is the secondary thought that came to my mind after that.
Mm-hmm.
These contracts are now becoming more frequent at the same exact time that veteran contracts are starting to more frequently move down to 1-year prove-it deals, right? This wave of, especially with the Bills, with what the Bills have done, we bring in a bunch of guys on a bunch of prove-it contracts. Joey Bosa, 1-year deal, $15 million. Larry Ogunjobi, 1-year deal, $10 million, right? Elijah Moore, 1-year deal, $5 million. Like these are not terrible players. Ogunjobi's probably on the back end of his career, and Joey Bosa's nearing that. Excuse me, but all of that is to say, it does seem like there's this wave of we're going to start investing more money into the rookie classes and the investments into these more manageable contracts as it relates to their cap hit than we are in these known commodities that can give us production right now, but we're paying for that on the back end. In 2 or 3 years because they've aged out, or the system has changed, or whatever unforeseen circumstance, right? At least with rookie contracts, unless you're a top 10 first round pick or something like that, the cap hit the dead cap hit is pretty manageable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Sure.
think about what the Bills had to do. Excuse me. Think about what the Bills had to do with Stephon Diggs' contract, $31 million. If that was a rookie contract in his 5th year, that dead cap hit is probably nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't have to pick up the 5th year option. You trade him. He's gone. Right. So what do you think about that? Because I thought that was pretty interesting when you look at where the rookie scale used to be. I think the last big contract for a quarterback in the first round was $60 million. And that was what? Sam Bradford?
Yep.
Yeah. And then after that, it was like, no, we got to put a stop to this. These rookies are getting too much money. And now they're getting the back. Like Ginty is the second highest paid running back in the league.
Second highest guaranteed money, because it's fully guaranteed. That's why that was kind of a product of people saying that running backs don't go in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're Ashton Ginty, yes, you can, especially in the draft that we had. That wasn't top heavy in quarterbacks, that didn't really have wide receivers to speak of. Teams were just going for something, or you wouldn't have had a first round. And I mean, was he a traditional second round talent for a running back? Yeah. But there was no edge rushers. There was nobody was going to reach for a D tackle that wasn't Mason Graham. So it opened up opportunities for guys to really screw with the formula for the draft picks. And Kev, I don't know if you saw, but yeah, Jaden Higgins, Houston had the 34th pick in the draft. So I'm not sure where it came from, but they did pick Jaden Higgins with the 34th pick in this last draft. But no, I
Really quick, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, fully guaranteed. If you go on NBC Sports, Texans second round wide receiver Jaden Higgins gets a fully guaranteed contract. That is real. That's real.
I mean, it, like you said, it's manageable, and this is another reason why teams like the Bills need to stop trying to pay these retreads, stop trying to pay these over the hills, and
Gets a what? 4 years for the guarantee.
yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So he was just saying that it's all 4 years guaranteed. That's the kind of what you guys didn't hear on the back end here. But yeah, no, I think when you're talking about teams that like to pay veterans, teams like to pay players that were has-beens, players that used to be names, it's starting to shift the paradigm. It's starting to make the young boys viable. It's starting to make the draft more important, because do you want to get, I'm going to say it, do you want a Von Miller, or do you want
take the first round pick?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna even you move up for it because you get 5 years at a cost controlled salary, and boom, now you can fill in the back end with lesser, I'll say, quality veterans, we'll say, and that's the way you want to do it. But if you don't have the solid backing to really evaluate talent and do that kind of stuff, then this is not talking about being. I know it sounds like I'm talking about being, but I'm not. If you don't have the fortitude and the acumen and do it, you're gonna really run out of salary cap fast. Yep. And what this almost does is forces the GMs and the scouts and people to really put the impetus on going out and doing the footwork, hitting the pavement, watching games, talking to people, and not worrying about we can shelve them for 2 years because you're wasting money on both. I'll say Bosa. You're wasting money on Bosa. Yep. Why is Ogunjobi here? Because,
exactly.
And it's a $6 million contract after the suspension is done. But still, now you went out and you got 2 D tackles. Did you really have to go get Ogunjobi? Did you have to stay with him when you found out what you found out? You didn't. But they kind of say, you know what, we're comfortable. And they do say that. And I will give Bean that. Yes. In the spirit of positivity, I will give Bean that. He always says, we're comfortable with this. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a person, a pick, a concept, something, we're comfortable with this. And that's what he means. He's comfortable with it. Right. So he does it. I genuinely think Bean has a fear of the unknown. And I do. I think he's afraid of the unknown. It's like, dude, and this is not a dig on Bills fans or anything, but they not worship you, but the next best thing. Mm-hmm. You can do no wrong. Right. Go out there and sell it. Nobody's gonna ask why you took Will Johnson if you took him.
Well, somebody did try to ask why he didn't take him and he walked away from the dude.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I mean that. But if you ask him that and he says, you know what, we weren't comfortable with it. I don't have to like it, but I respect it. And that's how they operate. I'm comfortable. This is how I operate. This is my wheelhouse. But now when you're talking about these salary caps and things like that, and you can get a lesser player, you're getting lesser players for more money than the guys and they have the power to negotiate. We got to do something with the salary cap. The number is astronomical. Yeah. Next year they're saying $295 million for a salary cap, and we only have 5. Mm-hmm. So we got to do something.
But you know what they're going to say. I mean, in their minds, a lot of their core players are already locked up. Mm-hmm. And Matt Milano is on the last year of his deal. James Cook is in the last year of his deal. Behind James Cook, you have a guy in Ray Davis that you should feel like you can trust, hopefully after this season and seeing his performance take an uptick. Ty Johnson is probably going to be back on another 1 year deal, vet min type of thing. I think his production is going to be about the same. But again, all that is to say, what they've done the last, 4, basically since they signed Von Miller is they've done the same thing every year. They go out and they get these veteran deals done first before the draft, and they get these rookie deals in, and they draft the players that they expect to contribute towards the end of the first round.
And ties on a 2-year deal.
Okay, but that's what I thought. I didn't want to say that without checking, but
I have to look myself. I'm like 2 year, $4 million or something like that.
Yeah. So, but I guess what I'm really trying to get to is the Bills have operated this way for some time now. You know what I'm saying? It's not anything new per se, but when you see that they basically taken all of the trust out of the draft process. You know what I'm saying? And when I say draft process, I mean you're taking the weight of rookie contribution away, basically, and you're putting it in the hands of the veterans that are going to come in and fill roles. And if they so happen to get beat out by a rookie, then that's icing on the cake. As far as what we see from the way Sean has conducted business and the way that Bean has conducted business and how they build the team, right? But that's how we ended up here. That's how we're going to end up that way in 2025. And all they're going to do is they're going to go right back to the same board. They're going to do the same thing. Matt Milano's not going to be here. Connor McGovern in his 3-year, $23 million deal is going to be gone and off the books with no dead cap hit or anything like that. And then you're going to be left with 2 or 3 holes with guys that
I knew it was coming.
You're going to be left with 2 or 3 open positions.
There you go.
Okay.
I guess I'm getting the hang of this. So I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
I'm still learning, I guess.
Hey, it's okay.
But yeah, so I mean, look.
I just live in fear. I live in fear. That's all.
Yeah, right. That's all we're learning from you, producer.
Right.
So we're learning how to live in fear. So look, and you shouldn't. I don't think any of that would be an issue if the players that they were signing were like the AJ Browns and the Myles Garretts of the Trey Hendricksons of the world. If you were spending vet money on guys that were coming in, that problem solved. We don't even need to draft that position for however long this guy is here for, because he's that elite. When he gives us the indication that he's on the downturn of his career or he's thinking about retiring, then we'll draft somebody. But we didn't do that. What we've done is we've said, we're going to go get guys that can get beat out by rookies, and we're just going to have a whole team full of guys that could potentially lose their jobs. Why? Because as Sean said, as I think Bean said this, we want it to be as hard as possible to make this
our
team.
roster. Yep.
How is that, bruh? That you said that you would start incorporating context. You defeating your own correction to yourself. No, it's not, Paul. He said we want to make it as hard as possible to make the team.
You making it worse yourself.
Look.
You making it worse yourself.
It's not worse for me. I didn't say it.
But yeah,
the head coach wants it to be as hard as possible.
But yeah, no,
somebody say them.
You can't. But no, I mean, you're right. You're right. And I think I said that the other day. You know, that's one of the things I have an issue with. I'm like, I want it to be difficult. I want it to be, you know, almost insurmountable. But I don't want the guys here to have the leg up. See, what I did was, when I thought about this here, I thought about you know, I'll hold it because this is going to go somewhere else. So you go ahead, do you think?
No, you go. I mean, really, I'm bringing up this point to just kind of talk about the change that I see coming, and I think it's a good one. I really do, and it's one that should force the Bills to move in that direction, because part of the reason that so here's the rookie wage scales, right? In let's go back to 2020. Okay. The rookie wage scale for a first round pick that year was $36 million over 4 years. Right. And what usually happens is that 5th year jumps up to just about what the franchise tag would be, somewhere close to that. Right. Mm-hmm. In 2022, the rookie wage scale for a first round pick, and I'm talking about the first overall pick, right? In 2021, 36 million. Right? The 100,000s were a little bit higher. I think in 2020 it was 36,190,137. Then you go to 2021, it's 36,793,488. Okay? Now you go to 2022 and the scale goes up to 37,372,622. 2023, it goes up to 37,955. You see where I'm going? It's not increasing that much at all, right? But when you get to 2025, because even with 2024 was 39 million. It went up 2 million. Mm-hmm. It's $39,486,058. And then 2025, $48,757,500 for the first overall pick.
Hold up. Nathan Oliver said, OLI Junior can't censor us in the chats.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
You are not safe from me.
Here you go.
Oh,
you are not safe from me.
How you gonna see it?
Don't worry
He
about
can't.
it.
He'll pull his phone out.
Yeah, unless you go on your phone and start looking.
Oh, I will.
You go, oh, brother.
I will.
Y'all in trouble now.
Oh,
Because you
brother.
said something, you know what?
In trouble now.
But yeah, no, the thing about
Go on
what you're
YouTube
saying,
right now.
and I think Spin said, I wanted to jump in because he said something earlier. He said Bean's not drafting just for this year; he's drafting for future years as well. I know, I know, but this is my problem. Let's go at 2017, no, 2018, just to be fair.
Okay.
Josh Allen, Taron Johnson are the only two players that really made a name for themselves on the
For
Bills.
sure.
2019, Ed Oliver, Devin Singletary, Tommy, if you're watching, Dawson Knox. That's 3. Those are only 3 people that really made a name for themselves on this team. AJ Epinesa is still here. Gabe Davis, I'll give him that. Tyler Bass and Dane Jackson, I suppose. So that's 4. 2021, Rousseau, Spencer Brown, DeMar Hamlin. 22,
Mm-hmm.
James Cook, Terrell Bernard, Khalil Shakir, Benford. 23, we won't even say 2 because it's too current. But my point in mentioning those people, how long before you realize that you're out of time?
Right.
They're drafting for the future, but if the future never comes, what's the point?
Well, even with that, you just look at Dwayne Carter. He's drafted last year. He's 3rd on the depth chart right now.
Behind
3rd.
Ogunjobi.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And you're not going to cut Ogunjobi at 1 year, $10 million,
No.
regardless of what his guaranteed money is. You're not just
Right.
taking that dead cap.
Right.
Dead cap.
Yeah.
Right?
So I mean, that's the point. It's like you're right, Spin. I agree. You're supposed to draft for the future, and he says he does. But why is it that Dorian's still sitting when he's apparently the future? Why is it that I mean, Dwayne Carter? Okay, fine, whatever. But if you're looking at guys that have been here, and out of the usual 7-8 picks, you get 3 that actually were on the team, made the team, did something. The other 4 they like just sit and waste. Balen Spectors, people like that, they're here. Travis
Right.
Clayton's, they're here. Daquan Hardy is here. Tyler Grable, fine. He's behind one of the best players on the team, so that doesn't really count. But the point still stands. At some point in year 2, year 3, max, these guys should be on the field. Not special team. I don't want to hear about teams. That teams thing drives me nuts. So I think they should be on the field max. And Spin, Milano's on his last year. We have Dorian next year. Right. But then what? Then his contract's up. So what are you going to do? You think he's going to take a deal that says, you know what? You're right. I didn't play that much for you, so just give me what you got. No, he's going to say, agent, go find me the best deal.
That's
then
right.
we lose him. And he was a talent.
Yep.
Then you talk about somebody like, we can go into to Dalton Kincaid. They kept throwing me seams. I can't catch seams. Josh don't throw seams that well. I don't want to be here. Then you lose him.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, if as a spectator, Lynn,
What?
stop. Lynn said, every time I say spectator, he says, stop talking about spectator. But the thing of the matter
That's
is when you look at the draft, some of these guys have talent. They gave up too soon on Wyatt Teller. Why? Because they didn't give him a second chance. Jack Anderson actually won the Super Bowl with the Eagles.
They did it because he wasn't part of the plan, and he wasn't the look they were looking for at the position, right?
Yeah.
The offensive line. Some of these position coordinators really it made me start to pay attention to just who Sean was hiring. That's how I found out about the assistant head coach that used to be the defensive line coach at the same time, and it ended up leaving last year, which is why they brought in I think Ryan Nielsen, whatever his name is. Like we have to keep in mind, Sean is taking some of his advice on decision making or some of his information from these position coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And we heard from all kinds of media about Kyrie Elam's relationship with the DB coach. And we all saw a major difference in training camp with that DB coach gone.
Mm-hmm.
And the collective thought process at that point was he just had a bad relationship with that guy. Maybe that's why he couldn't get on the field.
Yeah.
And then we found out, well, he might not be as good as we thought he was in the AFC Championship game. I still think that a lot of that has to do with the scheme. He's just not a scheme fit, right? But we'll see. He's now in Dallas. They are very big on their corners being out on an island and sink or swim and big play or no play. Okay, cool. We'll find out. But the point here is when you look at Wyatt Teller as a run blocker, as a pass blocker, they assessed him within months.
Yeah.
As you're not good enough to be on this team or to invest more time in. Either that or they thought the draft pick was worth more than the 5th round pick they spent on Wyatt Teller.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me, I don't even understand. Like that kind of, I hate saying it this way, Spin, but it kind of spits in the face of your point when you say they're drafting for the future. Like they needed a guard at that point that could play like Wyatt Teller did.
Yeah, I mean, and I, you can vouch for me here. Roy said in the comments, how many fans raised an eyebrow when Wyatt Teller was traded? I was up in arms.
Yes,
I was pissed because I was so excited after watching breakdowns on Wyatt Teller and what he did with the Bills. Not in college, not at Virginia Tech, no, but what he did here.
Yep.
You know, holding off with one arm, holding it. You know, the communication, the versatility that he showed. I was so up in arms about the fact that they let him go after 1 year of not even working with him. We had Cody Ford. How long? You know, you have guys on the team. How long?
Right.
But you gave up on the guy, and now he's an All-Pro. And how many guys have we had that went somewhere else? Not a ton, but there are guys that went elsewhere and produced. You know, and so you know, to your point, if no, it was somebody Steve Noble. He said to 2024, 2025, they may have I can't see it.
Yep.
They may have been their best drafts. I feel the last 2 drafts have definitely been a cover stacking draft, unlike his others. Okay, then and see the thing is that the names in the draft were good, but what do you do with them? What are we going to do with those guys once we evaluate it and we want to see what they look like in our scheme?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and how long the lease are they going to get when they mess up? You know, how long is it going to be before we go ahead and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable. I got to get somebody else. Who's that? Oh, okay.
What's going on, OLI?
Freaking out. I'm like, relax, hold on.
I'm back, baby.
Right.
Boom.
Now get yourself in that Discord, please.
Yeah. Listen, I need the email. You got to DM me your email so I can send you the Discord chat link.
We over there having fun and you're not even invited. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Laura holding it down for everybody.
There
right
she
now.
is. What you doing? But yeah, no, I mean, you know, it's I get it. You're supposed to draft for the future. All seven draft picks are not going to be starters right away. All 7 draft picks are not going to be starters, period. But at some point, you gotta identify, okay, this guy is good. This guy we can work with. This guy we can do this. And I feel like they're always bringing in guys. Like once somebody says, you know what, I took a step. It may not be here, but I'm here from where I was down here. They're like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go ahead and get me a veteran. I'm going to get somebody as older, somebody that I can pay. And that's the thing that irks me about it. What you got?
Wow. Congrats, Beth. Man, she says, I'm so stoked. I just won a signed full-size Bills helmet signed by Tyler Bass and Taron Johnson. Congrats, Beth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. She said, I never win anything, let alone something good. Right. Yeah. Look, congrats.
And Laura's mad at all y'all. Laura's mad at all 932 of y'all.
Why?
Because she said it's her, herself, and she. A and keys.
Listen,
that's it.
Wow, she didn't even say me. That's crazy.
You're not in there.
Yeah, I think I sent you.
He only say nothing.
No. I'm talking about Laura. She said me, myself, and I, and
yeah, you're not in there.
Yeah, I think she's just talking about
the
who
Discord. You're not in the
communicates.
Discord. I never see you say nothing.
That's true.
Put something in there, and you be in there too.
all right.
But yeah, Jesus, Mary and JoJo.
T-Bone.
Yeah.
Now, let's go.
What is it? Okay, we got gifted one Post Podium podcast membership. All right. So somebody was that sponsoring somebody else or somebody? How did that work?
Yeah, I think he gifted somebody else a membership. Yeah,
okay.
Look, it's easier than ever. I just posted the link not long ago. I'm gonna post the link in the chat one more time. Listen, I reduced it is $199 a month for everything that you're gonna get. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit more about it at the end of the show, but trust me, it's above and beyond worth the price of admission.
Billy D, if you can find a code 45, we might be on the song. So is it Beth? Okay, so Beth says thank you for the membership. You flipping rock. So because I don't understand any of this stuff.
Today is her day. She don't want the helmet. She got a membership. Man, this is
Play the lotto, and then you can sponsor somebody.
Yeah. She just said it.
There you go. But yeah, no, and like I said, this show is going to be, hopefully you guys are enjoying this show, and guys that thought we were being too negative or whatever, I hope you enjoyed the beginning and where we're going, because we really, Elias Gifton again, but we're really,
my goodness,
we're trying to touch all of you guys in however way you want to receive these messages, these shows. We want it to be fun for you all. Seriously, sometimes you're not going to agree with us, and that's fine. But you have to subscribe to Post Podium Podcast, which is not on the thing down here. Where's our bracket?
Oh my gosh.
Lord Jesus.
My God.
Right, there it is. All right. So put it right here. Right here. Go there.
Right at the bottom.
Subscribe to that. And then you can slander me all you want. You can talk about I'm 8 years old. You can do whatever you want, as long as you subscribe to the channel.
I really had half a mind to say this. It's nice arguing with Dill Trail and Bill's Mafia Experience, but if you ain't a member, I'm just gonna stop responding to comments.
Man,
we got to chat to have these conversations in. You know what I'm saying? At some point, let's just have a conversation instead of you cussing me out, and then I gotta wait 2 hours for you to respond and all that kind of stuff.
It's funny because when Dorothy gets on, I'm like, I just got home from work. It's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm sitting at the table eating dinner.
Here she comes.
I'm like, yo, Dorothy, what's happening?
Yeah.
Well, so but no, we definitely, when we get to the membership side, it's still growing. But it's what you guys make it. Honestly, it is
for sure.
The Discord, we talk, and when Laura pops in, my phone rings, and I holler at y'all. Like I said, I got 2 jobs, and I'll find time if I'm not asleep, whenever that is. So yeah, just hop along and tell us what you want to see, and we'll try to make it work for you. No doubt. Back to your point though, with regards to the building of the construct of the team, you if you're gonna be a young team, if you're gonna transition at some point to a younger team, you're gonna make mistakes, but at the same time, that younger team is gonna make big plays too.
Right.
That younger team is gonna be exciting. See, you said something earlier, and I didn't park on it because we were talking about in the grand scheme of, I forget what it was now, but Jim Schwartz is wide 9. What do I always ask about when I talk about defensive ends? Pass rusher. A bendy guy, speed. I don't need a compressor. I don't need, whatever the case may be. When I really went back and looked at Landon Jackson, I looked at his tape, and I saw him. I saw him at work, and I can tell you, I mean, he's not monstrous at all. Size wise, he's an average looking dude. No shade. He's 6'5". But and when I watch his tape, Landon Jackson has the potential to be the second best draft pick in this draft.
That's true.
That's true. The only knock I have on Landon Jackson is that he's too upright. He doesn't have any bend. He has 0 bend, and he's not gonna sharpen the corners. But the handwork, the counters, whoever the defensive line coach is right now is gonna be like, you know what? I don't have to give this guy much. I don't give him much, because at Arkansas he didn't have defensive tackle. He was playing in a 30 front sometimes.
Yeah.
So by virtue of 30 front, he's not gonna get a sack. And he still was getting to the quarterback. He was still beating with rips. He was hitting counters. He was doing things that guys in college don't do. So by virtue of playing with Ed Oliver, by virtue of playing to get across from Von Miller, not Von Miller, from Greg Rousseau, I think he's only going to get better. I think he has to be the starter. And that's why when we're talking about with the money you're talking about in terms of the veterans, diminishing. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't like the Bosa signing, because Bosa steps in the way.
Yep.
Of a Landon Jackson. People don't like Landon, but trust me, when you see him, and I wasn't high on him until I really went back. I wiped the hater crust from my eyes, as some of you guys like to say, and I said, let me see what this guy's got.
Right.
And I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, excellent. I see where he can work. I don't like the fact that he reduces, but if you're looking at what he is versus AJ Epinesa, he's a guaranteed upgrade that we may have to wait a year to see fully. But how do you marry him with Javon Solomon? That's on the defensive coordinator to do.
This is one of the things that gets a little hard to read, right? The intention of drafting a Javon Solomon, who we know doesn't fit what the Bills usually look for in a defensive end. He's too fast and too bendy, right? He's got those longer arms, so it's easier for him to play at that size, which is nice. But every single year, what have we seen, being put on the line? It's been these very tall, very long dudes that aren't the fastest, aren't the bendiest, and really aren't elite pass rushers per se. They're much better run defenders than they are pass rushers. But when you look at what we talked about after the draft, this is why, because now Javon Solomon he's pretty much out of there. It's going to be very hard for that guy to make a roster spot with everything that's in front of him right now, right? Because we're still talking about AJ Epinesa being on the team, and he's another one of those guys that people put on the bubble. But Sean McDermott likes to have these rotations. Well, who do you have at defensive end? You got Greg Rousseau, is going to be there. Bosa, is going to be there. Landon Jackson just got here and is a 3rd-round pick, and everybody thinks he's great, so he's going to be there. Who's after that? AJ Epinesa.
You got Michael Hoyt. You got Mike Hoyt,
is he considered a defensive end here, or is
they got Landon Jackson number 3.
Where do they have him listed?
So they have Rousseau they got Rousseau at left defensive end. They got Hoyt number 2 at left defensive end, and Jackson 3rd.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Jackson's better than Hoyt already. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's better than Hoyt. But you gave Hoyt, what did he get? He got $7 million a year, or was he? Yeah, he got $7 million. I think it was 23 years, $21 million or something like that.
Let me look it up right now.
So yeah, I mean, so while you're looking it up, Beth said, or no, outside looking at it said, chat giving is random, so he didn't pick who got it. The system did, so Beth got it. So she really is lucky today. We got Sweat in the building.
I didn't know you could do that. Just send it to random people.
Well, yeah, I knew you could do it. But I never knew what it was.
Wow.
And we got Sweat in the building. Welcome.
I heard it was possible.
Huh?
I said, well, like just sharing it. I didn't know it was possible.
Yeah. Teaching me something new every day.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So you're correct. It's 3-year, $21 million deal.
Yeah. So you figure you're talking about, why did you sign Michael Hoyt? Nothing wrong with him. If you had a world where you couldn't get Landon Jackson, you couldn't. Yeah, sure, fine. But you got Landon Jackson.
Right.
You got 2 of Deion Walker and TJ Sanders. But you still gave Ogunjobi $8 million before you got those 2. So it's like, in a year where the draft class was deep in both those positions, you went and paid a lot of money where you didn't really have to.
Well, so I guess this would have to be something to consider going into training camp. Or I guess to consider near the end of training camp, because what we're talking about realistically is 6 defensive ends, right? Greg Rousseau, Joey Bosa, Michael Hoyt, AJ Epinesa, Landon Jackson, and Javon Solomon. The guys behind them they're practice squad guys. You got Hayden Harris and Paris Shand, right? And then you're talking about those 6 defensive linemen combined with Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, Larry Ogunjobi, TJ Sanders, Deion Walker, and Dwayne Carter. So at worst, you're talking about possibly cutting Javon Solomon and Dwayne Carter to get yourself down to 10 defensive linemen, right? That's usually about what they go into a season with, right? Is 10, somewhere around there.
Yep.
So again, your 3rd-round pick from last year is at the end of the line, and Javon Solomon, a 5th-round pick, that's usually a pick that we expect to come in and be productive because the Bills do well in the later rounds. And this guy is an actual pass rusher aside from Landon Jackson. The rest of these other guys are not known as like elite pass rushers. Joey Bosa is more of that dominant defensive end, that power defensive end on, in both facets of the game, but he's never been an elite pass rusher, right?
Yeah.
But you're talking about cutting both of these dudes, and you just drafted them within the last 2 years.
Yeah. And to Roy's point, free agency happens before the draft. You never know how the draft will go. But see, Ogunjobi tells you right there, you could have waited.
Yes.
1 year, $8 million. He didn't have the fanfare that you would think. Hoyt is number 2 on the depth chart. This was a defensive end rich draft.
Yep.
This was a draft where you could have waited and then, let the chips fall after the draft.
Exactly.
Because you're not, I can see if you were going for a starter, like a wide receiver 1 or something like that, if we did that kind of thing, craziness.
What could you have done with $37 million? I mean, that's what you just paid Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt.
Yeah.
And the 15 on top of that, 37, 15. So what, 50, 52?
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
$52 million on 3 players.
And that's why the salary cap thing bothers me so much, because not one of the people that you named is a starter. Not one of them. And so as Kev says, that's a heck of a steroid price.
What?
You say that's a heck of a steroid price. But yeah, no, I get it, Roy. I get it. I understand. You know, I get it. But see, when you go for Ogunjobi, you go for a Hoyt. See, that was a first wave of free agency.
Yep.
You don't; those players aren't first wave players in free agency. So that should have been like a second kind of deal. And like, yeah, like you said, second round of free agency coming, lots of overpriced vets, I'm sure. But that brings about, stay with me, people like Gabe Davis. You know, and he's 25, 26, I think he just turned, like last month. And you know why he got cut, right?
What? No. Why?
You didn't hear?
No.
Oh, let me tell you real fast. I got it written down. I want to make sure I get it crisp. I want to get it right now.
Good stuff. All right, I'm ready.
Gabe Davis, an article by Heavy was written, heavy.com. It says he was cut because of a knee injury suffered in November.
So
anybody buying it?
Because of a knee injury?
Anybody buying it?
No.
He tore his meniscus. We just drafted a defensive tackle with a pars fracture in his back.
Right.
They cut him for a meniscus tear that's going to take 6 months to heal.
And he's supposed to be your number 2 receiver, making what, $14 million this year?
He's your number 2 receiver. What makes it go even further is this. You really believe this? They could have pupped him. They could have put him on an unable to perform list. They could have IR'd him. If you really wanted him, what happens, and this article didn't go there, but what happens to me, it tells me they both said, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. This ain't working. I don't like it. Gabe Davis just signed with a $14 million a year contract there.
Mm-hmm.
They're eating $1.5 million this year and $12 million next year.
Oh, wow.
1 year after he signed the contract, you're done with him over a meniscus? No. Miss me with that. That's not what it was at all.
Yep. Would it really? Because I think new offensive coordinator, right? Yeah, new head coach, new everything there.
Duval.
Yeah. So
Duval.
yeah. So what I really think that comes down to is Chad Hall's probably not there anymore. I can check. But Chad Hall is not there anymore, which was the connection that would have gotten through to the head coach to go and get a guy like that. You know what I mean? You got a guy your wide receiver coach trusts and thinks is really good, and he did good things in the playoffs and all that. They thought they were getting 13 seconds Gabe Davis, and they found out the Bills didn't even get 13 seconds Gabe Davis after 13 seconds.
Right, that was it.
So, look, the folks that want him back, I mean, answer me this, chat. Just tell me why. Tell me why you want him back, and then I'll tell you if it makes sense to me or not. And it's not to take a shot at anybody's thought processes, but I think what this all comes down to, and the point that we've been trying to make even right after the draft, is the same point of when you draft guys with the ability that our draft class has. They got to get burned early so that they can get the game under their belt and get the speed of the game under their belt and acclimate and then begin to become the playmakers that we need. Mm-hmm. The first 4 guys we have on this team can become playmakers for this team if you let them play. But you can't do that because you spent $52 million all on the position that you're going to all on the defensive line ahead of these guys. That's going to cause them to have to develop at a slower level or a slower speed rather. Right. And look, if that's your philosophy as a coach, cool. But again, if you're going to do something like that, then you need to make sure that the guys that you put ahead of these rookies are guys that should not ever be beaten out by these rookies. Mm-hmm. And if somehow, some way, a rookie comes in and beats that guy, well, then for a fact you've got a bona fide superstar because he just beat out, I don't know, Darrelle Revis at corner. You know what I mean? Or he just beat out prime Joey Bosa for defensive end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the times where we should be proud that one of our guys gets beat out, because the dude that beat him is just so elite, and we drafted that dude, and he's under a rookie contract for 4 years.
Yeah. And to Oli's point, Gabe has some stats as Cooper, same stats as Cooper, and 0 drops. Cooper has drops and same stats. So I don't want either one of them.
Gabe's got some drops.
I don't want Cooper either. So I mean that's vis-a-vis. But no, I mean everybody's saying Steelers or Giants. Why is somebody talking about New England? Why is nobody saying New England?
I mean, well, because they drafted Kyle Williams.
They drafted Kyle Williams, but the Kyle Williams, what round was that?
And they already had Jalen Pope.
What did he do last year?
Well,
I mean, they don't have. My point is, you got Steph Diggs, who you did your best work.
They don't have another bona fide guy.
They got a young quarterback. They got Steph. They got money.
But they also got to see Gabe Davis twice a year.
I know.
I mean, they probably know. Like, no.
Well, it wasn't Belichick though. No. But no,
Vrabel definitely not taking that guy.
See, that's the thing. But I mean, if you're talking about, a team that would pique interest, we don't have the money to pay him. So that lets you know right there. But no, if you're looking at Gabe Davis as a person, I'd be like, well, Gabe will want to come back. No, I would want Steph to do stuff. I don't need Gabe to do anything with Steph though.
You know what, Steve, you're right. Screw it. Just go get Levi Wallace and bring him back too. Like,
promise?
Why? Why not? Why not? Like, at this
point,
wait,
no.
At this point, why the hell not? Because I think you said it best. I'll just say it the way you said it. You do it for the vibes.
Mm-hmm.
You do it for the vibes.
Yeah.
So much of what this fan base is experiencing right now is surrounded around vibes. And guess what? The team don't want you to think any other way. They don't want you to think about the analytics. They don't want you to think about the numbers. They don't even want you to think about championships. They want you to think about vibes. Why? Because you'll pay for vibes. People do it all the time. Why do you think so many dispensaries around the city now?
Mm-hmm.
People paying for the vibes.
That vibe.
They paying for the vapors and they paying for the vibes.
Ooh.
Right?
You pay for the vapor, you stay for the vibes.
There's liquor stores everywhere. Why? You paying for the vibes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, never mind who we're beating along the way. Never mind the quality of teams in our division. Never mind who we're playing in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Never mind none of that. It's fun winning 13 games a season.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was thinking a while ago, I said something about the hater crust out of my eyes. And Roy said, I thought that was reserved for McDermott and Bean. No, my hater crust is reserved for Bean. I just told you that. McDermott's fine. Bean has got the hater crust. And also, I don't even know why I did that. But yeah, I mean, it who said it? Somebody said Gabe is equal to Levi Wallace. Yeah, probably. I mean, but we got Levi Wallace, we got Dane Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing that killed me, because I think I sent it to you on I know I did, off a Facebook screenshot, when the guy said, don't forget, most of Josh Allen's interceptions were thrown toward Gabe. They're like, where'd you get that stat from? I think I've said it a million times on the show.
Yeah.
Because everybody, Steph Diggs said, no, Gabe Davis was the reason why he had all these interceptions.
Watch the game, though.
Right. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
If you go say it with your chest. No, it wasn't. You can say a lot of things about him all you want, but that wasn't it. But yeah, I think.
There you go, Roy.
What's that?
There you go. He pulling it out the woodwork here. 20 career drops in Buffalo for Gabe, 9.8% drop.
Yeah, especially when he was a starter. See, that's what it was when he was a starter. He dropped everything. When he was a rotational guy, he was pretty good.
Yeah,
Mr. Toe Tap. That's what got the everything going for him.
Yeah, because the expectation wasn't there.
Yep. And I mean, Gabe loved it in Buffalo. Are we sure? We sure about that?
I mean, he hated it by the time he left.
That's what I'm saying.
Snowballs thrown at him.
That's what they booed. They were booing him. Yeah. He was on video cursing fans out, yelling at him, getting snowballs thrown at him. Yeah. As a Bill. It's not like he came back with a jack. No, he was still on the team.
Right. Yeah. There's too many opportunities out there for him right now. There just are. Yeah. I mean, this is, with it being so close to the draft having ended, this is right around that time where guys like Gabe Davis get scooped up because a team couldn't get the receiver they wanted, or they don't feel like they have enough at the wide receiver position. So I fully expect him to get a job somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
But like you said, and I think what you pointed out is probably going to be the biggest reason in Gabe's mind for not coming back is his relationship with the fans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you leave a city on those terms and people are throwing snowballs at you and trying to fight you and all that kind of stuff, man, I don't want to go back there.
I'm good on all that.
The only time you come back at 26 like that is when you've been injured and out of the league forever and you're just looking for an opportunity.
Yep. You just need to, somebody that I'm familiar with that can show off.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's true. And this is my grievance with Keon Coleman. And I'm going to give you guys some more positivity. I know I said it wrong, but I meant it on purpose. When people talk about Gabe Davis and they say, what does that mean for Keon? Me personally, I don't think it means anything, because I think Keon is the super steroided up version of Gabe Davis. I think if you learn how to use Keon Coleman, Gabe Davis is a nobody. I don't think. No.
They brought what?
He said,
no, they didn't bring him back. No.
Yeah, no, I think Gabe's 13 is available. Somebody took it on soccer. I forget who it was up top. Somebody they had 13. That's Buffalo's going further. But no, I think when you say what does that mean for Keon, I think once you learn how to use Keon and stop trying to make him something he's not, you're gonna unlock a good thing. And I think there's nothing Gabe Davis could do on his best day to get in the way. And that was the point I was going to get to when you were talking about how hard it is to make the roster. If you give him a fair shake at doing what he does best, there's nothing that should hold him back. He's not. You can't type. And I think somebody said something about, I use the word typecast in a couple of shows ago. I'm like, okay, you can't typecast Keon Coleman as this because he's not.
Right.
He was an X when he came into the league. What if he's not? What if you waste him again? What if he goes somewhere else and now, oh snap, they use him as the opposite. They use him as a Z. They put him in the slot. Heaven forbid it. And now he's going off. He didn't do it in Buffalo. That's because you didn't use him the right way. And so if you learn how to use these guys that you cultivate, you develop, you draft, you'll see a good thing. And I don't think that they should have had a hard, honest conversation with Keon Coleman unless they did it with Dalton Kincaid too. Because you did them both wrong. You did service to both of them. Kincaid, if you look at his college, I've said this before, his rookie year in Buffalo, he had 80-something catches for 800 yards, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Then you said, I'm going to do something different. You go deep now. No, everything he did was intermediate. So why do you take it? And now everybody, the drop. It's not something that's been thrown to him in the first place. We knew this. How many times in last year did we see yeah, no, it's funny because I sent that picture to him. I sent the picture to him. He said, I got it. He's like, wait, I'm about to use this. I said, oh, snap. But no, I mean, if where was I now? Gabe Davis, not Gabe Davis, Keon Coleman. Oh, Kincaid. Yeah. So, if you go back and say, oh, he's got a knee brace on now, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because if you look at the history of sports, why is it that scares you? Because remember Gronkowski wore that elbow brace?
Yep.
Was he lesser?
No, he was still putting people's face in the dirt.
Richard Hamilton in basketball wore that face mask for what? No reason. Because he was comfortable.
Yeah.
I blew my knee out.
I'm just trying to make sure it don't bend the way it's not supposed to. No more.
Right. I blew my knee out.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years after that, I couldn't wear shorts because the way the short touched my leg, it felt like my leg was going to come out again. It's psychological. Wow. So let the man wear his knee brace. And now they're talking about he didn't gain any weight. Why does he need to gain weight? So he can block? Newsflash. In his last year in college, he was probably top 5 best tight ends of all of them. Rookie, freshman, sophomore, junior, whatever. And guess what? In blocking in college, he was 156 in the nation in blocking. They didn't draft him to block. That was never the intent. So now they're talking about gain weight. Why is it that James Cook can't play on third down? Because he can't block. Stop it.
Right.
That's why you got Jackson Hodge can't catch. So what does that make him a left tackle? A right tackle? No, they want him to be a tight end.
I almost want to get you on a mic because I wanted to ask you about Pop. I wanted to ask you about what coaches typically look for in the rookie mini camps, because Sean was asked, and you don't have to, but Sean was asked about what he looks for. LaSalle asked him specific, like outright, like, or I'm sorry, I think it was Matt Bove. He said, "What are you looking for in rookie minicamp. And his answer was, well, he kind of paused for a minute, like he didn't really know how to phrase, what it was that he looks for. But the gist of it was he just wants to get the guys out there, see how fast they look, see how big they are, see how well they move, and see, how their anticipation is. Like, so you mean you just want to see him in person?
Right.
You can't see none of that on tape.
You saw it at the combine.
Right. You've seen these people perform in person. You've seen that.
This is my kick. Full clarity. I was never an athletic dude. I was never, could I dunk? Yes. Could I do all sorts of things? Yes. But the thing was, when basketball passed me by, was when basketball stopped being basketball. When it was all about athletics. It was all about who can run the fast, who can jump. When I went to college the second, I already told you about my first year. I couldn't play. I was a medical red shirt. And the second year they fired the coach I had, and they brought a guy in. The first thing they made us do, had to run a mile in under 6 minutes. What does that do with basketball? What does that have to do with basketball? Right. So at that point, I was like, why am I even here? I said, this isn't what I do. And now you watch basketball. It's not basketball. There's no centers, ambiguous. Everybody does the same thing. It's generic.
Yep.
And so why do I bring that up? Is because now you're talking about McDermott, how big they are, how fast they are. Who cares? Yep. Because I need my linemen to do this. I need my wide receivers to do this. I need my quarterback to do that. If he can do more, if they can do this. But the thing is, they see what they're doing. They're saying, okay, I know he's good there, but what else can I put him to do? I know he's a safety, Jordan Hancock. I know he's a nickel corner, but I bet he could play safety.
Exactly.
Greg Rousseau, what did they always say? He can reduce inside. Have you seen him do it? I haven't. Yeah. But he can do it. Who cares?
But like at the end of my thought, because this isn't the first time that I've heard Sean say something like that about players in general. But at the end of my thought, it's like, it really sounds like when you go to training camp, you don't really have any defined roles for these players. You just throw them all in the bowl and see who can climb out. You know what I'm saying? And then based on who you see beginning to climb out, then you say, okay, with this set of guys, we can do these sets of things on offense and defense. Like, why? I get that you want the best people that you can have on the team. And I get that in some quirky kind of way, that's your way of getting the best players on the team, right? Because if you're building a team for scheme and you draft with the philosophy that they draft with, it would be very difficult to make sure that the players you get fit the scheme.
Yeah,
because you almost kind of bottleneck yourself into specific players in the draft and in free agency, and they've always prided themselves, the Bills have always prided themselves on keeping that flexibility with the anchor of they're good people, they're good in the community, and they're good locker room guys, and they're selfless.
Right.
And that's cool. But again, you keep putting yourself in these positions, both with the salary cap and with the build of the team, where you have some guys that don't necessarily fit perfectly the scheme with which you run. And offensively, you have a hodgepodge of wide receivers now.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of guys that can run routes, but nobody's really considered a top tier outside guy, save maybe Elijah Moore if he had a better quarterback in his rookie season. Right. But Joshua Palmer, he's a great route runner. Right. Would he be better in the slot? Probably. Same as Khalil Shakir, and same with Keon Coleman being a power slot. These are three players at receiver that you have on your team, and two of which are getting the bag.
Right.
That doesn't even include Curtis Samuel, which people thought when he came in he was going to be that gadget guy coming out of the backfield with James Cook. We can't put that guy outside. Never mind that. But again, my point in bringing all these guys up is, what's your scheme?
Yeah, and I gotta say this, and I gotta go. But
all right.
Yeah, you look at when you play Madden, there's a archetype where it says you want slot receivers. I'm like, how many slot receivers do you need? How do you only have a certain amount of you only got two possible slots.
Yeah,
left slot, right slot, but you want to slide on the outside, slide on the right side. It's too many slots. We can't do this.
We gotta take a quick break real quick. Well, not a break, but Key, your birthday present is here from Laura. She gets to see you open it live on the show. Let's go.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Let's see what you got.
Let's see what I got.
What'd you get?
I'm scared now. Whoa.
You're right. This is poison gas. Gotcha.
He's such a jokester. All right. Let's see. Got the beer.
Yeah.
Beer chilling. Oh, she got the Bucks.
Oh,
she got the Bucks. Oh, I need the Bucks. Let's see.
You got the Bucks.
I didn't mean to beat you twice, Laura. She said, happy birthday. Thank you for being one of the most special people in my world. I'm so grateful God sent PP my way. Your friend Laura, a.k.a. L Boogie.
L Boogie. You
She
probably
said-
didn't have to read that out loud.
She said,
but-
yeah, boy. She said, you didn't have to beat me twice in fantasy football, though. That was rude. I know. I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I mean, you could have gave her one.
I didn't even know. I'm sorry. But
Oh man. Yeah. So I mean, look, the conversation that we're going to begin getting into from here is the Bills should win a lot of games in the regular season. With the depth they have on defensive line, the depth they're going to have in the secondary, they should be much better on defense, right? But where that gets tricky is all of these players that you had on the team last year
Mhm.
that didn't get a chance to play. We didn't see Solomon on the field that much. So
Right.
we don't know if he can play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Bills are basing, his playing time off of what they see in practice.
Practice?
Right.
You want to talk about practice?
Right. Like that has always been an issue for me, is like, well, I mean, you're not looking that great in practice, so you'll never get in the game. Well, what if he looks good in the game, but he's not great in practice?
That was yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean players can slack off in practice. I'm sure he's working hard in practice. But if what they're asking him to do in practice is not exactly what he experiences in a game, and he's more productive in a game,
Right.
then you should let the dude play. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's really about, I think we're going to look at 2025 and we're going to think, man, there's a lot of money on that that defensive line that we could have saved by just putting Deion Walker, TJ Sanders, and Landon Jackson on the field and just letting them go.
Yeah. And Kev, he said, I want you guys to focus on Jay and McDermott Brady dynamic by the end of the year. You already told us. You're the reason why I know about it, because you said that, and then I looked at it and you were right. But yeah, no, unfortunately, no, I'm an April guy. April 29th was my birthday. It was that last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 40 years on the clock now.
Yeah, I'm a June baby. Gemini's for life.
Lord,
but
I really
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll
be
you
there.
solid with me though. You solid with me. And the only thing that I could say that may or may not is he still here?
I don't know.
Come closer. Come closer. The only thing that this tops is that Reed's tea.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Only because Reed's tea is 1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What are you doing? Head to Reed's, get yourself a supply by the case or individual. Don't get yourself an individual. Get your case. You won't be disappointed. What do I know? See for yourself. Reed's tea. Click the link in the description below and use the code PPP or Post Podium Podcast and let them know who sent you.
All right. You know what that means? That means we got to jump out the window, man. It feels like we were barely here, man.
Dude, I was like, we got it's still 8 o'clock. Wait a minute, no, I gotta be at work at 8 o'clock.
Right. So look, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I'm gonna put it in the chat one last time before we jump out of here. This is the link for our membership program. Go ahead and sign up for that bad boy. It is $199. $199 a month. Okay. You're going to get membership live chats. Okay. Where we just sitting there kicking it.
Yep.
Talking about football, talking about whatever y'all want to talk
Anything.
about. You're going to get access to our Discord chat. where you have access to talk about whatever you want to talk about on a 24/7 basis.
Yep.
I mean, unless I'm asleep.
No, one of us will be up.
Right.
He IM'd me someone on IG last night, and I know he thought I was asleep.
It's unbelievable. Y'all be 2, 3 in the morning. Y'all be sending people.
I
Each other
just got home like, oh, Junior, what's up?
Yeah. Nah, he just got a new box spring for his bed,
Okay.
so it's like extra soft
Yeah.
now. So he was rocked last night. He loves it. Right.
That was my baby, man. Knocked out like a baby.
It's all good.
I love
T-Boney is yeah, my mom's a Scorpio too, so y'all have something in
Oh
common.
my God.
Okay.
And, yeah, thanks, Spam. 1 year closer to death. You're so optimistic. But anyway, yeah, let's get on out of here.
Yep. All right. Look, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
This is 40 Keys.
It's Airfields in the building. Oh yeah.
All right.
I gotta get that for next show. Wait, I gotta.
No.
I gotta.
No.
I can't get it to stay.
He ain't even showing you. That's
I know,
how
I
much
can't-
he don't want you to win.
I can't get it to
Hey,
stay.
what is that?
It's like a.
That is the most ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Shut up.
It looks like a evil monster.
It
dude.
was. I'm gonna work on that for next show.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
All right, see y'all.